What's going on, everyone? So today we're going to do a quick updates on LKCO stock. Luokung Technologies, we're just going to take a look at the current price and what's been going on. And I'll just give you guys some of my own predictions. And before I do get started, just remember this video is for entertainment purposes only. This is not financial advice. Be sure to do research before making any investments. But looking at Luokung, so far it has been following the simple support levels right now. So earlier I made a video over the weekend when Luokung was around the $1.80 plus mark, and I stated that I believe that it could potentially drop down to the 50 EMA line, which it actually did, and I made an update video the day before. And then the most recent video I made talking about that it could potentially touch its support levels around this price point in the 133-ish give or take price point. And so far, Luokung has been dipping and it's been touching and testing the support level so far. So right now, just looking back at the past few days, right, we had the high up here at the plus $2.20 plus cents, right? We see the sell-off, it breaks through the 50 EMA, and then it cannot hold around this 160 plus price range. So people continue to sell off right here. And then we can see we have some support around this area, and I'm basing this off of these touch points here, and then also looking at these touch points right there. So if you were to measure that, that's around the 130, 32, 33 cent give or take. And we're on the 1 hour chart, by the way. So if you zoom in, you can probably see a different, up close. But you can see here that we did not dip below the 133 cent price point. And currently after hours, it's actually up to $1.45. Now, I usually don't look at the after hours pricing because the liquidity, the volume is much, much lower. And it could literally just be one person that bought in at this price, and then it's just automatically that price point. But in reality, in terms of liquidity, if you all are thinking you can get in at this price point after hours, it's usually not the case. Because if you ever try to buy in, whether it's pre-market or after hours, and you put exactly what it says, but no one's trying to sell to you, then you're just sitting there waiting until the market opens and the volume increases. But at least we can see right now that we still have some time to test this out and see what could potentially happen. So what I could see happening is if this were to hold the 130 plus line right here, the support level area, we could see people start to buy in. We could consolidate sideways for a bit. And then the 50 EMA will slowly form over here. So we could see if there is some more buying volume that breaks out of that 50 EMA line. And then next thing you know, we're trending upwards again. Looking at the RSI currently right here, we're basically close to pretty much the oversold territory. And decided to bounce back up. So we got this little line right there. But in terms of LKCO, there was some news that was launched today on Webull. If you on Webull, at least you could see all the articles. And a lot of people were posting on Reddit too, this updated article. And it's basically saying the same stuff, but just the wording, it makes it sound, I'd say, worse than it really is. But then again, I'll show you this article in just a second. But at least short term right now, if this were to continue to downtrend, for instance, right, we break through the 130 mark. I mean, we could test the support levels around this area right here. And at this price point, you're getting closer to the $1 mark, right? And usually, if you guys follow along, even numbers are a big deal. So in my personal opinion, if people are still bullish on LKCO, they see potential, then we could see some major support building around this $1 price point, assuming it were to continue to drop. And then after that, unless there's some crazy bad news that happens, then I don't see us breaking through $1 right now. But then again, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But hypothetically, we were just to check that dip. That's a 22+% dip right there. Now let's just say this were to actually break through the 50 EMA and then start trending upwards again. And then we were to reach the highs of recently upwards of the $2.20. Then you can see that's a 60+% gain right there. And then obviously, remember guys that this is still potentially getting delisted. There's no 100% confirmation yet. So again, we still have this time frame basically between right now and then like beginning of May, give or take. So you pretty much have about a month plus of data to wait for to give you a better indication. Because if this were to continue downtrending, maybe the market just starts to crash and like everything starts to sell off, not just specifically LKCO, but like the entire markets, then you're probably going to see people take profits and it could drop below the $1 mark. But just say hypothetically, it were to go worst case back to the lows, and then next you know it starts to recover again, we could see some major volatility within this time frame right here and anticipation of the potential delisting if it were to occur. Hopefully it doesn't, but again, I can't control that, and there's really just nothing we can do besides wait. But looking at it right now, let's go and look at this article. So you can check it out on Reddit. Someone linked this in here, and this is stating, this is S&P Dow Jones indices, and basically this was on March 22nd, right? So this is their date right here. And when I was reading this, it didn't look very positive, I'd say, news, but You can basically get the idea pretty much, the Chinese military dealing with that and why they are basically going to delist these specific companies. And for instance, we have Luokung Technologies right here. So I'm just trying to reading exactly what this states. U.S. Department of Treasury Office of the Foreign Assets Control, OFAC. They say that they've confirmed that the prohibition in section, this number is right here, will take effect with respect to Luokung Technology Corp. 60 days after March 9th, and they put here that's basically May 8th. And then they state here the S&P DJI confirms it will not consider Luokung Technology Corp for addition to indices prior to May 8th, 2021. And then effective from May 8th, 2021, Luokung Technologies will become ineligible for indices following the entry into effect of the prohibition of section, these numbers here, and in accordance with the guidelines described in section of the S&P DJI and this whole entire phrase right here. So just from reading this, and maybe I'm overlooking this, but I'm pretty sure I looked in the Reddit forum too. I tried to see other people's thoughts on this. They're saying that this was just like old news that they just put in a different article and like a more, I'd say, official source like posted the same things that we already knew. But just from this wording, like definitely let me know in the comments below. Maybe I'm just looking into this wrong, but effective from May 8th, 2021, Luokung will be ineligible for indices following the entry in effect of the prohibition section, this right here. So if this is how I'm interpreting this. So basically after May 8th, that it's basically it's over. Unless something I'm guessing were to happen in the time frame beforehand, which I mentioned the dates before in a previous video, but based off this article, it feels like they're not even showcasing anything of potential of like, hey, you have this upcoming dates before you got confirmation and whatnot. So definitely let me know what you think about this specific phrase right here, and then feel free to link other resources that could potentially conflict these comments and potentially showcase that it might not get delisted. Because then we have like Xiaomi down here, and obviously you guys saw here that they actually got saved. But yeah, this is just a new thing I saw recently I wanted to share with you guys. So feel free to let me know what you think about that. So hypothetically, let's say worst case scenario, do remember that this is highly risky. If it were to get delisted and you're most likely in the States, I'm assuming you're probably going to, one, see the price tank, people are going to sell off. Two, it's going to be annoying to trade this because you have to find an exchange that it works on. And obviously, if you're not in the U.S., or I say if you are in the U.S. and you're trying to find an exchange that isn't in the U.S., then it could be a hassle, getting all that stuff too. But just keep that in mind. It's super, super risky that if they do get delisted, that the price probably could tank. But if they were not to get listed, then I could see the price surge up. And then obviously the future of it, depending on how well they do and what you think about the long-term potential of it, would end up being proven as the time goes. But at least right now, the short term, I see we have to wait and see if this were to consolidate sideways for now, or if we were to test lower lows right here, maybe touch the $1 price point. But it seems like if this were to maintain and we see green candlesticks by the next few days before this week ends, then we could see we're touching the essentially 50 EMA. We could see it break out. And the next thing you know, we probably would have to test this 160 plus area again and then break out through there. But again, I'll make some update videos as we go. So definitely hit that subscribe button and keep up with Luokung Technologies to see more updates on it. Also, let me know your price predictions down below and what you think is whether or not it's actually going to get delisted. And aside from that, one last thing is if you guys made it this far in the video and you want to get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,850, then go ahead and click the first link in the description below. As long as you deposit $100 minimum or more, you'll be able to receive 2 free stocks valued up to potentially $1,850. And aside from that, guys, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, comment below your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one.